Welcome back to the brewing class. On today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about water chemistry. We got this book down here from John Palmer and Colin Kaminsky, I believe, as the authors. I've read that book maybe 3 times in my brewing career, which has been about 6-7 years now, professionally and home. And yep, John Palmer and Colin Kaminsky. And I just wanted to briefly go over, I want to spend the next 3 to 5 minutes dumbing down water chemistry for you brewers at home and some brewers pro. So, what's water, right? We all say, oh, if it's good water, that's fine to brew with. That's typically true. That's a good, very, very rough estimation on, okay, that's fine. But that's not, it's a lot more difficult than that. If you know your city has hard tap water, typically hard alkaline water is the absolute worst kind of water. You want more soft and I guess fresh water. If you can have water from the mountains that's super pure, super soft, and hasn't had a lot of time to go down the mountain and collect minerals to make it hard or alkaline, then that's good. If you live in a mountainous town, fresh water, perfect. You can probably use that to brew good beer, because you can always add more minerals or acids, which I never recommend, into your brewing water. That's easier than taking out the minerals of the brewing water. To take out the minerals, you're going to need some sort of a filter. A lot of people use charcoal filters. I find that doesn't do justice to clean the water enough. I used to have a reverse osmosis filter, and I highly recommend it. A reverse osmosis filter drops all your ions and minerals and alkalinity from the water. Leaves you with pure nothingness of water, correct? At that point, you can go ahead and add the minerals for whatever style of beer that you want into that water, which is used in the mash. It counteracts in the pH from the malt to get you your proper pH range for the mash, which is 5.2 to 5.6, some say. And so such things as the darker malt and things and stouts, it changes the water chemistry a little bit more, which you'll need to add sodium bicarbonate, I believe it is, baking soda, to counteract that change in pH from the dark malts. So the darker the malt you use, add a little bit more baking soda. For a big ass imperial stout, maybe 5 grams for 5 gallons of water for your strike water of baking soda. Things like IPAs, you're going to want them to be, let's say, a good old-fashioned bitter, caramely-ish IPA, right? 6-7%, pretty bitter, pretty dry. For the water chemistry for that, you're going to want to add gypsum. The 4 minerals you use are gypsum, calcium chloride, Epsom salt, and baking soda. Those are the 4 minerals you'd use to change the water chemistry of your reverse osmosis or distilled water. If you want to purchase distilled water, that's similar to reverse osmosis water where it's all neutral. You can, so for an IPA, let's say maybe 6 to 7 grams of gypsum, maybe 3 grams of calcium chloride, maybe 2.5 grams of Epsom salt, not needed always. And for baking soda, maybe 3.2 grams baking soda for a 5-gallon batch for an IPA, bitter, dry. That's a decent amount of minerals total right there, because the water should be fairly high alkaline, fairly high hardness, and the hardness comes from the calcium. So more gypsum, more calcium chloride, more harder, more robust the beer. Things like lagers and pilsners, you want very soft water, so you don't need to add nearly as much minerals into your reverse osmosis strike water. Things like, pilsners, lagers, little amounts. You can maybe use 1.5 grams gypsum, maybe 1 gram, 1.5 grams calcium chloride, if even. 1 gram Epsom salt, also 1.2 grams baking soda. Into your mash water. Reverse osmosis, 5-gallon batch, pilsner or lager. Pilsner, a little bit more minerals, not much. So on my ebook I give out for free when you subscribe on our website, It goes over 15 to 20 different styles of beers and the exact amounts of minerals in grams for 5-gallon batches of IPA, porter, stout, alt beer, Bock, things such as that nature. So feel free to check that out. But that's the dumbing down of water. Like, your tap water is probably going to be pretty high alkaline and hard. That's not very good. If you're brewing a Pilsner, you can never brew a great Pilsner with that tap water. You might be able to have fermentation and things will go well, but it'll never be great because I know that water is high alkaline, high pH, high everything, and it's going to throw off your numbers. And if you don't be careful of this, you won't even know to look for them. So if you can, buy good drinking water. That's the easiest thing you can do. You don't need to add much minerals, but once you get more advanced, get reverse osmosis or distilled water or reverse osmosis filter. Fill that water up 4 hours prior to your brew day or the day before. It may take long to exchange or through the reverse osmosis filter, and you may waste a decent amount of water too, sadly. So if you can collect that and use it for cleaning, that's the best. But yeah, that's the best thing you can do, basically. Get that, start at a clean slate, add your minerals, gypsum, calcium chloride, Epsom salt, not always necessary, and baking soda. Darker the malts, more baking soda, more dry bitterness, more gypsum, more big mouthfeel and malty enhancement, calcium chloride. And Epsom salt's mainly used for yeast health, not necessary, I think, but it adds a little bit of magnesium as well. You don't want to go above 30 ppm for magnesium, but yeah, that's about it. Reverse osmosis, minerals, you'll learn it. If you have any other questions, feel free to shoot me an email at brewer@thebrewingclass.com. Once again, my name is Ty Stevenson. Thank you for tuning in. Peace.